Welcome to RPG Book Club, a podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we'll be completing our coverage of Golden Sun: The Lost Age, playing until we beat the game. But before we get started, how was everyone's week?
Man, I feel like I never have anything to fucking talk about in this segment. I hate this segment.
Well,
I never have anything to say. I never do anything, and the things I do, I always forget about, or I decide I don't want to talk about.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. The fans like it, though. They want to know about your life where you don't do anything. So you should just start lying. Just be like, I went skydiving and shit. I'll believe you.
I guess I'm not good at lying.
Well, on my end, God, let me think of things that have happened in the last week. I'm also struggling, not because nothing has happened, but because I'm just forgetful as fuck.
I take notes on what to talk about in these sections. Get prepared, scrubs.
Oh, you take notes on your week?
Yeah. Because I also almost never know what to talk about. So I'm like, oh, that's a funny thing. I should tell it on the podcast. I jot it down in my little pocket notebook.
But nothing happens in my week to take notes on.
You can just talk about the video games you're playing. We are a video game podcast. You can laser focus.
Oh, actually, that gives me something immediately. So I've only played the first 22 minutes according to Steam. But I just started Unbeatable, which is now out. I talked about that on I talked about it on something for this podcast a while ago. I can't even remember what it was. Holy fucking shit. This game is incredible so far. Like, I don't think I've ever played a rhythm game this good, and I'm worried that after I finish it, I will never play a rhythm game as good as it again. Like, this is like a good fucking video game.
Hell yeah.
And it's all about, you get to beat cops to death with a guitar. That's awesome.
I'm all about
it. While playing music.
Does sound awesome.
I also started playing, I played further into, did I mention this last week? I can't remember if I started playing it then. I don't think I did according to the thing of when I was doing it. It's a game called Laugh Track. It's It is a free visual novel that is by the same people who did a game that one of my partners played that they really liked. Fiction Factory Games is the group. They did a game called Penny Larceny Gig Economy Supervillain, which I heard is could be better, but is pretty fun. They just released Laugh Track for free very recently. It's great. It's a horror comedy visual novel in which you are someone who was sacrificed as part of a cult into becoming part of their eldritch god as part of a hive mind, but you've now been returned to being an individual, so you can be the writer / showrunner on the sitcom they're making to try to ruin every universe.
Beautiful.
And so you control these characters with your writing decisions. And it's who are all real people that they've like kidnapped into being in this sitcom. It is very funny and very horrifying, and very specifically is leaning a lot on like, this is a game about what it is like presently in 2026 living in a United States run by Donald Trump for the second time. It is extremely about that and how fucking rough it is and how crushingly hopeless it feels so much of the time. And no, some people might say it's ham-fisted. In fact, I have actually heard people say it's very ham-fisted, but I think subtlety's for cowards. So yeah, I'm good with it. I'm fine with them having a point where nice agents come to the school to check for illegal immigrants or to check people's birth certificates to see if they're the right gender to use a certain bathroom. That sounds that's good. That's good satire or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What have you been up to, Sam?
Not much.
Cool.
I can't believe, Mister. I'm over here. Oh, I take notes. Why are you making me carry this segment myself, motherfucker?
It was for the joke. So I had my first Tuesday, capital T, capital W, capital O S day. So the second Tuesday of every month, I want to have a get together to play board games and hang out and be social, because having a social life turns out to be important, and I haven't had one in a decade. So we had our first one on Tuesday, and it was awesome. And we played this game called Ito. It's a Japanese game. And if you've seen the, I forget the name of Becca Scott's show on Dropout, but the first episode they played Wavelength. It's a lot like that. So each person is dealt a singular card, and the card has a number from 0 to 100 on it. And then the person whose turn it is, they pull out a card that has a prompt like heavy things or things you don't want your body to be covered in, or whatever. And then from a scale of 1 to 100 is where your number lies. So then you have to give clues to where your point on the scale is. And then everyone around the table debates what order everyone's cards should be in without knowing what the number is. And then at the end, when everyone's ready, you flip it, and then you win if you get it right. You don't if you don't. So it's cooperative. There's no points, they don't matter. And it's so much fun, and I highly recommend it. It gives you so much of the understanding how people's brains work, and therefore it's a fun social activity that Cards Against Humanity does, but it doesn't have casual racism. So love it
or anything else in Cards Against Humanity, which most of what's in Cards Against Humanity just isn't very funny.
Yeah. And
even like the stuff that's not racist.
Yeah, the problem with Cards Against Humanity is by writing actual jokes into the apples to apples format, you lose the versatility that is apples to apples. Because when someone puts up the green card public speaker and then you put out Helen Keller, that's funny, and there were no jokes written. It's just going to be funny like that. And apples to apples is infinitely better than Cards Against Humanity.
You know what's better than both of them?
What?
Dick. There's a game called Dick where
Okay, wait a second. I need to pause. You're just talking about cock.
I thought you were just making fun of Cards Against Humanity, because that's the type of cards that they would have.
There's a game called Dick where all the prompt cards are just regular ass apples to apples Cards Against Humanity prompt cards, but all the answer cards are direct quotes from Moby Dick. And it's incredible.
That sounds pretty fun.
That's amazing.
Friend of the podcast, and my actual real life friend, game professor, he's a big fan of a game called Metagame. He's had me play it many times. Where it's like the apples to apples kind of thing. There's a general art slash media whatever version, and then there's a version that he prefers where it's just all video games. And the idea is, instead, there's no mystery to it. There's no like, oh, who was which card, because it's not just, oh, which of these fits this thing. It's about, you have to argue for yours and why your card actually fits the question best. And it is meant to be judged not on actually how good necessarily your card is, but how good the argument you make up for it is.
Nice.
And it can be pretty fun.
That sounds sort of similar to a party game I made up and never made real. I'm not going to say what it is, because then someone could steal my idea.
It's your OC, do not steal.
Yes.
Original card game. But other than that, I've parented, and I don't think I've played a video game for fun this week, which is sad, because I like playing video games. I did play an awful lot of a video game with an awful strategy guide that sells for hundreds of dollars, and I played Golden Sun: The Lost Age. So let's talk about that. right, we have finished was it Jupiter Lighthouse? That was the last one we did? Yeah, Jupiter. So we finished the Jupiter Lighthouse, and the clock is ticking. We gotta hurry. We gotta get to the last lighthouse, and we gotta save the world from decaying any further. So we head straight there to the northern reaches, but we're too slow to get there, and all of the cold coming in from the north has frozen a giant iceberg in our way, and we can't get through to reach the land of Prox where the final lighthouse is.
That iceberg has been there the whole time, so I don't know how Karsten and Ignacio got through, because if you go there earlier, that iceberg is there.
Yeah. Maybe they have a little bit stronger lift synergy, and they can just lift us up 4 feet higher and get over, because you can get over small reefs on the world map, but big reefs you can't. So maybe they just are a little better at that one synergy and can get us over the bigger reefs. So stuck by this huge iceberg, we think, what's stronger than ice? And the answer, obviously, is guns. So we're going to go get a gun and blow up the iceberg. So we wander around the overworld till we find an archaeological dig site in a city that has a bunch of old ruins in it. But the archaeologists are all really bad at their job, because all of the ruins are getting in the way of them digging for ruins. So they want to blow some up so that they can get to the ruins on the other side of the ruins. So they have this big old cannon that they found in their ruins that they don't know how it works, but they want to use it to blow up the ruins. And so they need gunpowder or something to make it work. So we think back, do we have any leads on gunpowder? So we think that we've, of all of the huge long dungeons we've done, and we realized we did a really long wind dungeon, a really long water dungeon, a really long earth dungeon. So that means there's a gun rock out there somewhere, and we're going to go find gun rock.
Amazingly, you're making this sound a lot more cohesive than it actually is. Like,
wait, you're not wrong.
Like this is you doing it favors.
Yes, which is hilarious. Because in game, what actually happens is you walk into the town of Loho, and there are no cutscenes. And then if you interact with the cannon, it says, "Do you want to use an item?" Or it doesn't even say that; it just pops up your menu, and you're supposed. That usually means use a synergy or an item, and that's the hint. That's what the game gives you. I'm making it a lot more cohesive.
So you're like, "Do I use burst?" No.
Mm-hmm. No.
You don't. Yeah.
No. So we make our way to Gunrock, and we, of course, scale the outside in a long dungeon with several different stages of challenges, only to then enter inside and do another long dungeon with several stages of challenges. And the whole time, it rules. But it is real long, and nothing happens until you reach the end where Jenna receives the Blaze synergy.
It makes me laugh, because it's like, she's like, it's finally my turn. I get the synergy this time. And, like, Garrett's right there, and he's a Mars Edit too. And
he sucks at synergy.
It's true, he does. But it's like, it's just very funny that it's like, of course. It's like, yeah, but just 4 more people who weren't here previously, and one of them could be doing this, but it's like, nah, Jenna's got it. Which is the correct choice, because Jenna's the best character in the party.
Yes. I also love how she has earned the synergy to make a tiny little pilot flame in front of her that if there's another fire, it will turn into a flamethrower. But she also, just by existing, has a giant flame laser that she can use whenever she wants, but she can't use that outside of battle. So she has to use this tiny little pocket lighter one. So after you get the Blaze synergy, you're like, aha, the way that you fire guns is you put a little fire onto the thing like it's a musket. And so this is all that you need to do here. So let's just leave, because obviously that's just decoration. Nothing about that looks like it's important. So let's just leave. And then it doesn't work. And we come back and we pick up a rock on fire, because that's what gunpowder is. It's just rocks on fire.
Yeah, I put in the host chat, hey, when y'all do Magma Rock and you see that rock that looks different, it's gonna look very bad to touch it, but you're wanting to go over and pick it up and put it in your pocket. And, I mean, I guess expecting us to investigate it makes sense, because it does look different from the other rocks in the area, but the idea that we're supposed to be like, we should go pick that up is silly.
Especially because the quote unquote hints in Loho are they're like, we've put in steel balls, but we don't know how to shoot them out the other side. None of them are, we need to put in a bomb, an explodey fire thing into it. All of them are just like, how do we light a cannon? So you would think it would just be the fire one, but no. So we return to Loho, and they shoot the gun to blow up some ruins so people can dig up more ruins. They don't need the gun, so they strap it to our boat so we can now go gun the iceberg and continue on to Prox. When we get to Prox, we see some people looking around for them, but they vanished without a trace. Maybe they went to the lighthouse, but the mayor said to free them when Felix returns to Prox, so they couldn't have been freed yet. Technically, the game says what them is on the last sentence of the scene, but then none of your characters talk about it, and that's stupid. So I'm leaving it out. So it'll be foreshadowed for when the characters finally react way later down. So we head out of town, but we run into the mayor, Puel, and he has gathered a bunch of his troops, and he wants to go and scale the lighthouse and attempt to light the beacon somehow and save their clan from certain doom. They were waiting for Karst and Agashio to return, but they've been gone for a while. The snowstorm is getting worse, so it looks like they've probably failed. But the town elder tells Puel that he sucks real bad, way worse than Karst and Agashio. So if he went in, it would be certain death, and Prox would be without a leader. And Puel is like, well, then what should we do? Just sit here and wait for a miracle? And Felix is like, hi, I'm a miracle. I can do it. Puel is like, oh, wow, Felix, you look really, really strong. And you brought the people who murdered Saturos and Minardi here. What a weird choice. Creighton says that Saturos and Minardi had attacked Isaac's home, and they stole their cultural artifacts and kidnapped his friends. And so Isaac had every right to go after them. Isaac then says that every time it came up, because this is what happened in the game, every time it came up, it was like, do you want to kill them? We said no. And then they threw themselves into the lighthouse. We kind of didn't kill them.
And I find it funny because everyone just sort of accepts this explanation very quickly. I get the idea that Satoris and Minardi were like big important people in their community, but everyone's like, yeah, they also just are assholes and we don't actually particularly like them.
Yeah, it's like everyone just goes around and is like, oh, like they were really scary, right? Like they're really big and strong. Cool. Yeah, I would have fought back too. And then other guys like, oh, but you were able to beat them. So that must mean you're really strong. So like, that's cool. I'm down with you. And everyone just has these other like weak ass explanations of why they're happy that their friends are dead. So we're acquitted of murder.
Really
we did it, guys.
Scene. I really enjoyed that bit of just all these people being like, because I feel like I don't say a worse written game, but a different game would have had everyone be like, oh, you did that. And it's just like, everyone's just like, well, I mean, let's think about this for 2 seconds. Yeah, I can see why you might have done that. That sounds fair to me.
Oh, and they attacked your town, destroyed a bunch of property, maybe kidnapped some people, stole some cultural treasures. Sounds like them.
Yeah, that's what they do. So they ask Felix and the gang to climb the tower and save Wayard because only they are strong enough to do it. But to light the lighthouse, they'll need to find the Mars Star. And so they'll need to find Karst and Agashio and retrieve it before they finish climbing. That is, before they finish climbing, not before you climb. There's nothing else to do on the overworld besides just go straight to the lighthouse.
I need to pause for a second because there's a thing that annoyed the shit out of me with this. Is when they talk about like, oh, well, at this point, no one can do it. Is they're like, well, at one point, one of them says specifically, the only people who could have ever possibly had a chance to climb that lighthouse might have been Satoros, and you'd think Minardi, but no. Satoros, the dude of the replacement duo, who's
barely in this game.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow. So the two guys had a chance of doing it, but the two girls, fuck them, I guess.
They just help out.
Well,
it's so stupid because they're the ones who have, I feel like, way more character and feel way more effective than the dudes.
Satoris and Minardi, I felt like were about equal, but Karst definitely is more a character than Agashio is.
There's a thing that happens in video games frequently where the story of the game and the feelings of the developers don't match, but it's usually in the other direction. It's usually in, oh, we're in the game, everyone's about feminism, and it's like, then why are there no named female characters? Is what usually happens. Here it's the opposite. So everyone in his game is like, women suck, but then the game is like, look how cool Jenna and Carson Minardi are. They're the real story here. This is what the game's about. And then everyone in game is like, nah, sexism though. It's very weird. So the gang heads on to the Mars Lighthouse, our last lighthouse, the Mars one of the fire element, based on fire. So let's do a bunch of ice puzzles.
Well, it's frozen because it hasn't been lit.
Yeah, but Mercury Lighthouse wasn't dry because it hasn't been lit. Venus Lighthouse wasn't empty space instead of Earth because it hadn't been lit. This is the only one that is its opposite element for some reason.
I think it's the only one that makes sense.
So halfway up Hellfire Peak, we see 2 fire dragons trapped in a giant block of ice. So we do some puzzles to free them, and then we have a pretty easy boss fight that lures us into a false sense of security, thinking that we are adequately prepared for the rest of this dungeon. After the bosses are felled, they turn back into Karst and Agashio. Damn it, we did it again. We keep killing people when they turn into dragons. The people of Prox are going to hate us. But before dying, they tell us that eye told them that they didn't have the will to climb the rest of the tower. And then the eye's gaze, sorry, spoilers, the eye's gaze pierced deep into their soul, and then everything went black. They say that they feel the long...
The rock is gay.
So they feel the long, dark cold of death creeping on. So they beg Felix to light the lighthouse and finish their mission. So we take the Mars star, which allows us to enter the other, more fiery part of the lighthouse, where we do wind, earth, ice, and finally some fire puzzles to activate the 4 runes and prove our worth to be able to climb the Eyrie. And then when we get there, a voice rings out. Betrayers, you have arrived. The gang can't tell who or what or where the voice is coming from, so they're just like, whatever, throw in the Mars star. But when Felix runs up to do it, a force pushes him back. Then out comes the wise one, the big eye who has been pulling Isaac's strings this whole game. Isaac tells Felix's gang about how the wise one saved them from the eruption at Sol Sanctum and about their quest to recover the 4 elemental stars and stop the lighting of the lighthouses, and how it all has to do because of this guy. The wise one asks why Isaac betrayed it, and Jenna says that Prox will be destroyed if they don't. And the wise one is like, tough shit. Prox sucks. The party says that Gaia Falls will erode the Earth if they don't do it. And I had thought this whole time that the continents were sinking, and that was what they meant by the landmass was shrinking. But no, they mean the Discworld is getting smaller because all of the Earth is falling into space, and that's fucking cool.
It's so cool.
I wish the cutscene earlier would have been way more clear, because that's really fucking cool. The wise one reveals that it's not the existence of alchemy that destroys the world, but it was mankind's usage of it and wars over it that destroyed the world. So actually, it's perfectly safe to restore the lighthouses, and it's just mankind killing the planet. We don't have anything to worry about doing this. And so we're like, oh, well, we'll just go back with our multicultural, multinational conglomerate that we have and tell people that alchemy is really dangerous, and we'll set up some sort of checks and balances so that this doesn't happen. And the wise one was like, no, it's human nature for one person to attempt world domination. I mean, look what's already happening. And we're like, but alchemy isn't even back yet? What do you mean? And the wise one is like, well, you see how Karst and Agashio were here without Alex? He's not here. He's climbing Mount Aleph right now to reach the Sol Sanctum. When the lighthouses are restored, their lights will converge right at the Sol Sanctum, and the golden suns shall rise. And Kraden is like, that must be what forms the Stone of Sages. That was Alex's plan all along. And like, what the fuck, game? What the fuck is the Stone of Sages? So I have been writing my notes based on the entire script of every written out piece of text in the video game. And there is one NPC who you have to read their mind in an optional room of the Senate chamber in Lemuria, and he says that the Stone of Sages is a powerful alchemical artifact that mankind warred over in the previous age of alchemy. And the other 2 times it mentions it are in this cutscene. That is the only time in the game they talk about this, and it's the whole.
There is mention of it a couple times in the first game, but by a couple I mean I think actually 2.
I don't remember that at all 60 hours later, so
I did just double check.
Here's the
okay.
thing: is I am really glad that you're having a thing about this, because when this happened, I was truly like, "Am I stupid?" Did I like?
This is an alchemy thing. We're all just supposed to know about the concept of the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
It's just assumed.
So we tell the wise one that the only way to stop a bad guy with alchemy is for there to be a good guy with alchemy, and so we're going to light the lighthouse no matter what. The wise one says that it can't interfere with the actions of man, so go ahead. But if for some reason a miracle were to happen and you were to die before you could do it, that's not me. That's something else. So the wise
God,
one
I hate
summons
the
a
wise one.
I hate him so much. I'm really glad I called like at the start of the first game. Like, I don't trust this motherfucker.
Yeah. So the wise one summons a 3-headed dragon, and Garrett is like, that's only a 50% increase in heads from the last game's final boss, and we have a 100% increase in party composition. This will be easy. But Kraden is like, wait, all of the dragons we fought in both games have been, no, don't do it. Don't fight the boss. But we do.
Garrett's like, yeah, it's too late. We can't stop now. And I'm like, well, you could just not. But Garrett's like, my sword is already swinging. It already has the momentum.
I can't stop. So we fight the dragon, and then we try again, and then we try again some more, and then we try to save Scum, and then that still doesn't work. So we give up and we watch the ending on YouTube because this is super hard.
I maybe could have beaten it in time, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. So I tried a few times, and then I was like, I could go and make a bunch of preparations and come back, or I'll just watch the ending on YouTube since we're about to record. Then we didn't record last night, so probably if I had really tried and focused, I probably could have actually beat it in time, but yeah, I watched the ending on YouTube because this fight is hard. It can do a thing where some previous bosses, I think Carson and Gashio, both in regular form and dragon form, can drain a character's Jin, so they all go into the state as if they've just been summoned, and so your character's really weak, and they can't do any of their summons, and it sucks. This dragon, at least in its third phase, I can't remember if it does it in its first 2 phases, it can drain everyone's Jin. Every active party member, all their Jin go away, and then it does a huge attack that hits all party members right after it, and it's really bad.
Yeah. The AI is from all of the safe scumming I was doing. Also, I realized this game has deterministic RNG. So whatever the RNG thing is, it's the same. You can't save scum on the turn. You have to try something different.
I figured that out a while ago. It's really annoying.
Yeah. Only for safe scumming. If you were playing the game normal, you would never notice. But as a safe scummer, I can be like, no, this next turn, he does the fuck you move. So I need to prepare for the fuck you move right now. So like I beat the super boss of this game last week, and I was talking about how awesome it was and everything. But making your party effectively level 1 again and taking all of their healing synergy with them is a lot worse than just healing to full each turn. So fuck this guy.
Also, you say the super boss. There are 4 super bosses in this game.
Yes, I have beaten the hardest one. The other ones, their gimmicks actually make it easier for you. There's one that has this move, but it turns them all to red and not to yellow, which means it gives you free summons every turn, and you just fuck them up. It's real fucking easy. And then there's another one that
like a poor strategy from the boss.
And then the other one is immune to synergy, but not immune to Jin or summons or howl moves when you use your magic sword. So he's also very easy because at this point, Felix has Megiddo with the Excalibur or whatever, and it fucks everything up, like stronger than any of his synergies. So taking his synergies away is like, whatever. I don't give a shit. So the other bosses are not the hard ones. I did the hard one. Even the like end game like super duper boss, if you go in with all of your Jin on red and just blow him up with summons at the very beginning of the battle, he dies in like 3 turns. The mage one is absolutely the hardest one, minus this boss, because you have so few options when he just turns your party to nothing. So I attempted the way that I think I'm going to beat him, because I feel like I'm close to cracking this puzzle, because when he drains all of your gen, it doesn't drain the ones that are on the back row. And then on the back row, you still recover your gen. So the way to do it is to somehow survive. So save scum until you know it's about to happen, and then everyone guard, because that's the only way I've ever been able to figure out to make it survive. But then on your next turn, you switch people out. And we can't switch all of them out because it's hard, but you switch out to probably your healer for the first one, and then you slowly get switch everybody in and out, and then it doesn't hurt as bad. But only being able to switch one person at a time has made me not win it yet, but I think that's the key to surviving, and I'll get there eventually because I'm close.
Also, this goddamn dragon, it can do a move where it puts up a guard aura around itself, which means for the rest of the turn, it'll all attacks will do like 15 damage tops. And man, I don't know if the computer is cheating, but it's really good at doing that right when I've selected to do summons.
My favorite while doing this save scummy is I will go and I'll use a summon, and it's like, oh, here's a guard thing. I'm like, okay, well, reload my save. I'm not going to use my summons. I'm going to do something else, like use this turn to heal up and stuff, because one of his 2 attacks is spent on the thing. So this is a lower damage round. I'm going to heal up and get ready for the next one, where I will unleash my summon. And then the next one starts, and he's like, he used Jin Explosion. You can't fucking summon anything. And because he uses it after you've already chosen it, everyone just is defending because they don't have any fucking mana to use. I fucking hate it. It's so hard.
This is a real fuck you, boss. But what happens presumably if you somehow beat him?
Yeah, so after someone else beats the dragon for you, it turns back into 3.
You hand the Game Boy Advance to your older sibling who does it for you.
Yes. The dragon turns back into 3 humans, Jenna's parents and Isaac's father. Piers and Mia attempt to heal them, but it's less that they are injured and more that their synergies were drained and they're not going to be able to make it. Piers and Sheba and Garrett are pissed for Jenna, Felix, and Isaac, but our heroes are better than that. And Isaac says that he realized what was happening before he even raised his sword, but the world depends on stopping the wise one, so he knows his parents would understand. And then the true protagonist of the game, Jenna, says that this hurts, but they didn't come here to save her parents. They came here to save the world.
I love her so much.
Ivan then says, trying to be nice, he says that, well, your parents saved the world too. They sacrificed their lives to save the world, which is like cope as shit, but whatever, Ivan, you tried. Felix goes and talks to his parents before they die, and they say that they're glad that they got to see him one more time before the end, and they ask him to take care of Jenna. Kyle tells Isaac to tell his mom to live her life to the fullest. It's very, very sweet. So Felix tosses the Mars star into the beacon, and it fucking explodes. The whole tower just starts splitting apart like it did last time. And they're like, okay, we did it, but also, shit, we're going to die. We have to get your parents and get out of here. And then from my reading of the scene, everyone agreed, no, we don't have time. But then when they're like, we're out of time, grab them anyways. I don't know. Eventually, you grab the parents, and everyone tries and runs down as the screen fades to white.
Yeah, there's a time skip. It's just sort of like, something happens. Who knows?
Something happened. You get out.
They sort of got tired of writing this scene.
Yeah. They're like,
there have been a number of scenes throughout these games. I wish they'd gotten tired of writing them earlier.
Absolutely. I feel this whole second game has been them like, you know what, we used way too many words in the first game. We're not going to have a single plot reason why you have to go to Magma Rock. There's no cutscenes. No one tells you to do this. That's just what happens here. So a weird thing happens there at the end, and I don't remember it coming up, but I'm bringing it up anyways. As you're about to leave, Garrett says, stop it, let go of my wrist, and everyone's like, no one's touching you. And he's like, no, I'm serious. Stop touching me. And that's when the beacon starts to explode and it fades to white. And I have no idea what that is. I didn't see it come up ever again.
I forgot about that because, it doesn't come up. I was like, are these illusory ghosts of their parents and or something, and it's gonna turn out that I don't know,
I don't
but
know.
yeah, it doesn't come up.
It doesn't come up. So we head back to Prox and we talk with the Elder and Puel there and basically sum up like everything that happened. Kraden gets to talk more about the Stone of Sages and the Golden Sun forming over Mount Aleph. And then we find out the awesome thing that if you remember when we had to do the 2-part fight against Saturos at the beginning of last game, when we kicked his ass and then he lit the beacon and the burst of synergy healed him to full and he was able to leave. That happened to our parents because they're all adepts too. So their synergies were zooped back to the top and they're fine. They didn't actually die. Yay.
It hadn't occurred to me that this thing that can happen with synergies has been established before. That makes it less not feel stupid that it happened.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad you bring it up that way because I missed that and I was just like, well, this is a huge fucking ass pull, but okay, I guess. Happy ending.
Yeah. To be fair, when it happened with Saturos, I was like, well, that seems like an ass pull. You specifically said that this was Mercury power or whatever. Like this doesn't make any damn sense. But it was convenient that it didn't make any sense because now it made this part make a little bit the same amount of no sense as the first one. So you talk with the Elder and he begs you to stay and you're like, not a chance in hell. I don't live here. I'm going home. And so then everyone loads up and leaves. You get, because this is a Dragon Quest, you get a victory lap where you can go around and talk to everyone in town to get new dialogue. And because this is Golden Sun, there's a lot of that new dialogue and none of it's important.
One thing I find really entertaining about this whole part is that when you're there talking to the Elder and Mayor and everything, Jenna's like, can we fucking go? And they're like, yeah, we'll go. And we'll keep talking and stuff. And I'm like, Jenna, you really are speaking for me here. In so many scenes in these games, you're speaking for me.
She is the best character.
Can we please go? And then there's like this long scene of them being like, I wonder if Vale is all right, or if something happened. Well, if something happened, the Wise One apparently appeared in visions to some people when we were lighting the lighthouse, telling people to get away from the lighthouses so that they would be safe. So probably if something happened to Vale, our families are safe. And if we see something that happens to Vale, we're not going to immediately assume everyone's dead because we've talked about this before and we've established that we think they probably got to safety.
I forgot. Before the after we light the beacon, but before everything explodes, we do see, like, we talk telepathically to adepts at each of the other lighthouses that do establish that, like, the lighthouses in Mount Aleph are probably about to have a big old alchemical explosion, and we were ordered by the Wise One to get everyone to safety. And then the Elder is like, maybe this was the Wise One's plan all along. And then I believe it's Jenna who says, he made us try to kill our parents. I don't give a shit what his plan was all along. Like, that's fucking stupid. And their only response is, well, I mean, no one can question the motives of someone as all powerful as the Wise One. And I'm like, no, fuck that Rocky bitch.
Fuck that Rocky bitch. Agreed.
I do not understand the Wise One.
No.
I don't think we're supposed to, but I don't like the Wise One.
Yeah. So what else happens as they're leaving? I forget.
I don't remember anything else that happens as they're leaving.
Yeah. So then in the epilogue, we see Alex climbing Mount Aleph, and he's like, the Golden Sun, the very quintessence of alchemy's power. It's beginning. Wait for me. Please wait until I reach the summit of Mount Aleph. And then the lighthouses all blast their energy to Mount Aleph, forming the Golden Sun. And at the summit, Alex stands there and he's like, at last, I have it. Eternal life and limitless power. At last, the power of nature is mine to control as I will. And then nothing happens. He's like, well, that's odd. I feel I should have limitless power. Why can't I do anything? And then the Wise One
tries to make a storm happen. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
Why is it not raining?
Yeah, and so the Wise One shows up, and asks him if he wants limitless power, and he's like, yes, I just got it. And they're like, your power is only nearly limitless. It has boundaries. You also can have nearly endless life, and your synergy is somewhat stronger. And so he uses synergy to fight the Wise One, and then the Wise One uses its own synergy to throw Alex down and then suspends him in midair. And he's like, what's going on? I should be all powerful. How can you defeat me? The Wise One slams Alex down and is like, you are not all powerful. You have limits, as does your life. I, the Wise One, imbued the Mars Star with some of the power of the forming golden sun. It rests even now in the hands of young Isaac. Alex is like, why? And the Wise One says, the heavens and earth are changing, Alex. You must flee now. Mount Aleph will soon be drawn into the heart of the earth. You must flee or join it forever. Alex is like, flee? I can't flee. I can't even move. And they're like, yes, you now see the limits of your power. If you are swallowed by the earth, you may not survive. If you survive, perhaps we will meet again someday. Then eventually the party reaches Vale, and what fucking happens in this scene?
So they reach Vale, and they look out, and they see that Vale is gone because of whatever happened at Mount Aleph. And Isaac and Garrett are immediately like, oh my god, our parents are dead. We did not have a conversation specifically in which we said, if this happens, we're going to assume they're not dead because we have good reason to assume otherwise. And then Sheba and Mia decide, this is fucking funny. They think their parents are dead. Lol, Lamau, Raffle, IJBOL. But then their parents show up and everyone's like, hey, we're fine actually, just like you thought, and then forgot that you thought.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give them some credit. I think the reason they were laughing is because they're like, these motherfuckers are so stupid. Did they forget we had a conversation about this?
Also, I think probably their parents are just standing right there at that point.
Yeah, see them waving.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and they're like, oh yeah, we forgot.
And then the end. But yeah,
I am going to try a couple more times to beat that dang boss.
Yeah.
But it might not happen.
Just like with the super boss, even though I'm save scumming, I'm having a lot of fun, like treating it like a puzzle and not like an RPG battle. And because that's fun, I'm probably going to go back and try and finish it.
I did. In this final dungeon of the game, you get the teleport synergy, which allows you to teleport between special symbols on the ground. It also, if you use it on the overworld, lets you warp to any town that you have been to previously. You get this.
Oh my fucking god.
I've been flying everywhere. Dungeon, you get this. So I went back to Yalom, and I've been blacksmithing tons of new items that I never did before because I didn't want to go all the way back to Yalom.
Yeah, I flew back because I didn't realize that teleport would let you teleport, because why would it when they give it to you in the final dungeon and the only times you need it outside of the dungeon are for super boss things? It's like, this is for sequence breakers that want to go and do the special stuff. It's not going to be a fucking teleport spell. Why would the teleport spell be called teleport? That's silly.
For a long time, I've been wondering if we're going to get a fucking warp spell, and we did in the final dungeon.
God damn it! This
game was that in the final dungeon or was that in Magma Rock?
That was in the final dungeon.
Okay, yeah.
This game is weird. Let's listen to one last track from it and then talk about how weird it is.
So my main memorable moment about this game being weird was the extremely weird final scene where I already talked extensively about that, though, because that just really bothered me. That scene was written so weird. No one was really making sense there.
Yeah. That is fair. Here's my biggest memo for this segment of the game is I actually feel despite some of these scenes going on too long, as is common for Golden Sun, and that last scene especially being very weird. I really enjoy a lot of the scenes we get at the very end of the game now that we have 8 fucking people in this party, because there's actually just some of their full party conversations are actually kind of fun, and I like getting to feel like I have a better handle on some of the characters, like Shiva, them getting to develop more just out of contrast to other characters. It's nice. I appreciate that.
I feel bad for Ivan though, because he got the short stick. Because in
Ivan
every
got the shortest end of the stick by a long shot. He got a secret sister, and he doesn't matter. He got a secret sister, and he gets no lines of dialogue.
As I recall, when it's revealed that she's his sister, isn't it just like, oh, but we can't really talk about that right now. We're busy.
Yeah, and it's not like you can return to talk to her later, because Hama's from the part of the world map they don't let you go to in this game. So it's just like, you just don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
We'll talk about this later after the game's over.
Yeah.
Maybe in Dark Dawn we'll have talked about it by then.
Probably.
I suppose we should also talk about the fact that Felix gets a bunch of lines in the last scene.
He starts speaking specifically. There is a point where someone is like, Felix, say something, and that's when he starts talking.
That's amazing.
Which I love, though I also find it weird how they're like, the point where he has a bunch of lines is it's like, oh no, our parents are dead, and Felix is like, Isaac, Garrett, I know how you feel. I've felt this too. And not like, hey, they're probably fine, or hey, they are standing right here.
They are literally right there. Can you please
even if they
turn
weren't
around?
there yet, Felix could have said, we talked about this, they're probably okay. I understand. It is very reasonable to be concerned, but let's not jump to conclusions yet. Also, they're standing right there.
Also, I think it's interesting, again, because now that he's not the protagonist, Isaac has gotten dialogue in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, now that he has dialogue, it's like, I don't know how I feel. He just kind of feels a little bit like a dipshit. Jenna truly is the leader of this party.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've gotten any particular read on Isaac. He's just some guy.
He's just some guy.
Yeah, I don't dislike his personality, and I like it enough that, like, he didn't have to be silent for the first game. I would have been fine if both characters were speaking the whole time. They didn't have to get protagonist syndrome, because what's ended up happening is my read on Isaac when he was silent doesn't match up at all with what his actual personality is. So it's like, you could have just, if you wanted him to have a particular personality, you could have given him that the whole time.
I think that kind of rules, though.
Yeah, I like
games being stupid.
I think that's the big takeaway I have of these games is I feel like this is the most, like, negative that we've been in episodes for a game that I would rank like a 9 out of 10. Like, everything about this game rules actually, but it does a lot of stupid shit.
I would probably rank this game like an 8 out of 10, but
Yeah.
I still think it's really good.
I'm gonna say 8.5,
Yeah.
but also, another thing I really liked is at the end when we get to this frozen village in the north, where Felix has secretly been living with his parents all this time. Everyone there knows him and is like, oh, hey, Felix, you're back!
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're way stronger now! That's so cool! And, like... And you also we talked about the bit where everyone is like, oh yeah, it's probably fine, you killed those dudes. But also, the way everyone talks about I'm probably forgetting how to...
Satoru Simonardi?
No, the new ones.
Karst and Nagashio.
You said you both spoke at the same time. Karst
and
Karst,
Nagashio.
thank you. I don't know why I was forgetting Karst's name. But, like, again, I brought this up in previous episode. I just really enjoy that the villains in this game are just kind of dudes. Like, they could be very Team Rocket-y, but the part of being a Team Rocket is at the end of the day, they're still people, and they'll be like, wait, no, we don't want the world to end. And, like, I wouldn't say they're reasonable people, but they're like, oh no, they feel like actual characters who kind of have something going on beyond just being dopes.
Yeah, they have a interesting version of the Killmonger thing going on where Killmonger makes all the says all the right things, but he's the bad guy. But these people are like obviously bad people. They just are doing the right thing, so it's like slightly different. And so when you get to the end, it's like, oh, turns out we're going to do what they're going to do, but we're not going to just like raise villages for fun as we go through and kidnap Sheba and all of these horrible things that they did just for fun on the side. Like, we can go restore alchemy and not be like that. And I like them. They're just guys.
I think it's a neat variant.
And also we have Alex being Frieza, and we never actually have a showdown with him. They sort of leave it open for a sequel, which I find an interesting thing to do in a game that is a pair of games structured like this. I'm guessing Alex does survive and comes back in Dark Dawn and is pissed off now.
I'm not sure.
Well, don't
and
look
he even
it
has
up and
motivation.
tell me, because I'm going to play it.
This one, in his infinite motherfucking wisdom, basically pointed Alex at Isaac as a gun. It's just like, hey, the reason your thing didn't work out, it's because some of the power stayed with that guy. So if you ever wanted to fix what happened,
man, the wise one. I feel like we should apologize to Kraden for saying how awful his vibes are when we have the wise one here.
Yeah, I mean, Kraden is a shitty Gandalf, but the wise one is a shitty Sauron.
I will say there was a good, decent moment with Kraden in this section. There was a whole bit where Sheba talks about what it was like growing up with no parents, and basically her realizing she's never gonna get any, like, there's never gonna be some like satisfying answer for what happened to her life. It's just like, nah, girl, that's just how it goes. And he was just like, yeah, I can't relate completely to that, but I was basically taken from the place I lived as a kid and then raised to be a scholar for this fucking dude, and kind of lost my whole childhood over it and never had anyone who cared about me. You had people who cared about you, isn't that nice? And it was like, that was a decent, like, look at that, Kraden. You don't have to be a shitty Gandalf all the time. Sometimes you can be a shitty Iroh. That's different.
Right. So that did remind me of the thing at the end of the game where you first arrive in Prox and they're like, by the way, Felix, your parents have gone to the tower. Isn't that weird? Are you sad that your parents are at the tower? It's your parents. And I mean, Felix never says anything, but nobody else says anything either. And there's no interaction with the party in that scene. You just go on, and then everyone is so surprised there at the end. It's like, it's so weird. This game has so much good writing, so much weird writing, and oddly very little bad writing, except for like pacing things. That's the main bad writing thing that it does. Most of the time it's good or weird.
Not a writing thing, but a design thing. I think it's neat how the people of that village all, like Citrosa Minardi, have like kind of like weird, slightly non-human character designs. But then the old leader of the village looks like the Grinch. Like, everyone else is blue, he's green, and he looks green and furry.
Man, this game is so good and so weird. And like, we had to gloss over them because nothing fucking happens in literally any of them in the entire game. But the dungeons in this game are so fucking good. They're some of the best 2D RPG dungeons I've ever fucking played.
How is it within the last year we have played 2 different games that have like 10 out of 10, maybe 11 out of 10 dungeon design.
Yeah. And we put them against each other. So for once, my block idea was a good block idea. I did it. It's only taken me 7 years.
And in both of them, the first game, the dungeons weren't as good, but then in the second game, they just got crazy.
And in both of them, the first game, the dungeons weren't that good, but they had some cool stuff. Like, remember in Lufia 1, the dungeon where the floors were fake and you had like the 3 ones to go over and stuff, and they were doing cool things without the ability to do cool things. And then in the second one, they're like, no, we'll kick it up a notch. And so both of them, we were like, oh, that was good. And then the second one, we're like, holy shit, this is really good.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the dungeons in Lufia 1, but they were very normal. It was just like, these are just dungeons where you go around and fight monsters, but they're laid out well.
Yeah, I hella enjoy these games, and I absolutely see why the people who played them back in the day have them up on a like Chrono Trigger pedestal. I don't think I would put it there at this point, But for a handheld RPG at turn of the century, this shit fucking rules. This is really good.
And also, I suspect the people that love Golden Sun so much, probably they played both games in quick succession when they were younger, and then as they grew older, their memories of the second one influenced the first one as well, so they think they're both that good.
Yeah.
Because I'd still strongly of the opinion that Lost Age is way, way, way better than the first
absolutely.
game.
Definitely.
Treating them as one game, I give it a 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. The first game I think is a solid 7, and the second
I would say
second
like
game,
a 6 or
Yeah.
5. Like, it's not bad. But...
No. Yeah, I would give it an IGN 7.
Yes.
Or a objective 5 or 6. But yeah, these games are really good.
Yeah, if I had played these back when I was a kid who would sink dozens, if not hundreds of hours into whatever I could get into my Game Boy Advanced, this game would be imprinted on my soul. But I didn't. And so I'm just like, damn, this is a good game.
Yeah, I only ever briefly had a cartridge of the second game, and I started it, and I'm like, this is in the middle of something. I don't think I should start here. And so I didn't play it. And that was the most Golden Sun interaction I had back when my Game Boy Advance SP was permanently putting a imprint on my body because I wore it in my pocket all the time. But yeah. Game good, game weird, game bad, game good. Big recommend from me over here. I recommend you play it and you take your time with it. And this be like, if you're looking for a game to put on your Delta emulator on your iPhone to have to play in little short bursts while you're waiting for your food to get there at the table or whatever, I think this one is great for that because you can just take your time with it. And if you take your time with it, all of the parts that suck a lot less because you're not trying to do 7 dungeons in a week for a podcast because there's no plot in between them or anything like that. So that's my recommendation is play it slowly. So speaking of Game Boy Advance games, we're about to play another Game Boy Advance game. And this is one that is one of my favorites, but I never played it on the Game Boy Advance. I only played it on Visual Boy Advance. We will be playing, starting next week, Mega Man Battle Network. Exactly the same and completely different at the same time. And I'm very, very excited for it. Thanks to everyone who donated over on the Ko-Fi. I would like to say it's close, but it wasn't close at all. Thanks to all of you for voting. I'm very excited to play this game.
I will have next week a fun Trish backstory related to this game.
Ooh, excited. We'll have a history section for Capcom and a history section for Trish. But that is the end of the episode this week. And if you like what you heard and you want to vote on our next game whenever that comes up, which won't be super long because Battle Network 1 is very short, but you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club where any and all donations will help us offset the cost of running the show. If you donate $1 or more a month, you'll become one of our gadabouts and also get access to our bonus feed filled with after shows for every episode, as well as bonus seasons of the show, such as Tales of Podcastia, The Escape Pod, and the JRPG Canon. And then if you up your donation to $5 or more each month, you can become one of our warriors and get your name read at the end of every episode, a little like this. Shoutouts to Dragon Slayer 19, Freddie Rodriguez, and J-Fro Prime. And then if you really, really love us and you want to become one of our luminaries, you can donate $20 or more a month and you'll get a short 1-sentence shout out or advert read at the end of each episode, kind of like this. Shout outs to Keldronis, who says to check out Podcasters Assemble. It is a documentary style crowdsourced movie hype and rewatch podcast. Every season, podcasters from around the world are assembled to review, reminisce, and riff on a popular franchise. Shout outs to Vimke, who says, he said you made your blade naked to him. He said you offered him sick pornographies. And then shout out to It's Claire Time, who says, for you TTRPG nerds, check out Fabula Ultima. I'm not affiliated with the game. I just think it's neat. For RPG Book Club, I've been Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye-bye.